Hello citizens and would-be citizens, Demo Man here, and I'd like to talk to you about something near and dear to my heart. Let's talk about permanent death. In more details, and character creation, and healing your spaceman, and all that good stuff. So let's get into this fun topic, and jump right in. At the very beginning, you've just booted up the game's completely finished in terms of its, basic development. And you're new to the game or you're a veteran, and you load it up, and it's like, okay, here we go, and you'll be confronted by two bathroom doors, one male, one female. The door you choose to go through is your desired gender, so that's the point where you'll choose whether you're male or female. Either you'll be a dude or a chick, it's up to you. So, once you walk through one of those doors, you'll be confronted by a mirror covered in steam. You'll then wipe the steam away and then design your character's face on more of a mix and match basis with heads they already have in the game and a couple of slider tools here and there and that sort of stuff, which is all fun and games and good and well. Now, you will walk out of there and you will then be confronted by the UEE, recruitment office, and you can either choose to sign up and go through the military training, which will throw you into Squadron 42, and that's how you start your campaign. You will then be going through, the UEE stuff, and you'll be doing all sorts of crazy military operations, stuff like that. When you come out, you'll have your citizenship. Or you can just choose to skip this and go the other road and try and work out what you're going to do in the verse on your own without that citizenship behind you. The whole military help thing. So if you go through the military tree, what will happen is, or the military road I should say, you will come out with a rank or a bit of a reputation, and you'll have a bit of a hand from the UEE at the very beginning. Or you can choose to skip Squadron 42 and go out in the verse, and put your jacket on and walk out that door and try and make a name for yourself with no help. Right. So let's say you're now some hotshot flying around doing missions here and there, and you haven't really had much of the worry of death yet. So you jump in your ship, your fighter or whatever, and let's say you're flying around. All of a sudden, some guy comes up on you, blows up your ship, but you punch out at the last second. What will happen is you'll be in space, floating around, and if a timer or something will count down if you're not killed, and you will respawn at the nearest medical center or station type thing, and you'll come back, and you won't have used any of your lives. You won't have used any of your body's lives, and I'll tell you about that now. So, as a spaceman or as a citizen in Star Citizen, your body will have a damage meter per se. You won't be able to see it, but your body will only be able to take a certain amount of damage, which means the more beat up you get from battles and such, the more messed up your body's gonna be. And it'll get to a point where your body can't be brought back anymore and you're toast. But I'll get to that in a moment. Right, back to what I was saying. So, you escaped, you had a lucky break, you used your ejection seat, and you made it. So, I didn't use any lives. Now, let's say you didn't use your ejection seat, and you literally took a missile to the cockpit, and that's not exactly a good thing to happen. There's a chance that you could be recovered, and your body will be in a really bad way, and you might be able to be brought back. So it's a bit of a risky endeavor. Now let's move on to another scenario. Let's say you're flying around, you land at the station, you didn't get attacked by that random dude, and you land and you're completely healthy. And then all of a sudden, pirates are attacking that station, and you walk through the door at the worst possible time into a hostage situation, and one of these pirates, who's a player, likely panics and blasts you in the arm with a shotgun. Completely just blasts you away, and you bleed out, and then you wake up in a medical center. Now, if you bleed out, that means your arm was catastrophically damaged. What we're talking about here is, in reality, it would be more like a flap of skin instead of an arm. So, let's say that happens. What will happen then is you'll return at a medical center and be like, oh wow, that was a close shave, but you'll have a robot arm. I mean, how kick-ass is that? I mean, you'll be like Strachan from Warhammer 40k. You'll have the whole cyborg arm and shoulder implant, and you'll be able to go back out there and, you know, kick ass. Let's say you're in an escape pod, like you're on board a capital ship, and you activate the escape pod. You're fine, you don't use up any of your lives, but if you don't get to that escape pod in time, you're gonna possibly lose, like, you're gonna lose your life, or you might lose your character. Depending on how catastrophic the damage is when the capital ship does detonate, you might not be able to be recovered. Right, let's move on to the next stage here now. Let's say you've been around the verse, knocking around for a while, and you got loads of bumps and scrapes, and you lost an arm or you lost a leg to fierce fighting here and there. Well, what will happen is, if you go to a bar in Star Citizen, once the game's been out for a little while and it's in more of a complete state, you'll see players in said bar, some with mechanical limbs, some other fresh, and some like burned and things like that, and you'll see that people's characters have taken damage and it's shaped how they look. It's given them character. And you'll be able to tell who has had like a really rough time. Like, you know, or there could be just one guy who's like, oh, I got this game yesterday. Yeah, I've just been really unlucky. And he'll just be like completely mechanical. He'll be like C-3PO, except with like a couple of human bits and bobs on him here and there. But let's say you've taken damage on your body and your body's starting to pack up and you're about to, like, you know, you're about to bite. If you bite the dust one more time, it's going to be permanent. Well, what will happen is, if you have enough credits, you can go to a laboratory or a space, like, you know, lab, like on an Endeavor, and for a certain amount of credits, you might be able to get some of those. You'll get some of those lives back, and you know, stem cell research and all sorts of reconstruction stuff, and you'll be able to be, you know, right as rain. You'll be back as fit as a fiddle, and that's pretty cool. But let's go down the road of you have had a long and arduous time, like in terms of like a journey in your epic story as you've played Star Citizen. You have battled many people and you've been through big wars and you've discovered things and you've slayed pirates and held the line against the Vandul. Well, guess what, buddy? All that stuff is recognized, so if your character does finally give up the ghost in a last heroic battle aboard a capital ship, like some evil pirate's capital ship, and you fought him onto the bridge, and the only way to take him down was to take yourself out at the same time, and you chuck that grenade, you know, at the window, and it blows out, and you both die, and your character can't take any more revives. Then what will happen is, you'll respawn, except in your new character. Now, going back to the very start here, when you make your character the first time, you will have to make your beneficiary. You have to write down your beneficiary's name. You'll have to write a will when you really get started. And what will happen is now, your first character, your epic dude, has died. And you're heartbroken. You're like, damn, you know, like if I only had those credits, those stem cells. Or you're a bit like, well, his time has come. What will happen is, you will respawn, like you'll start the game basically, at his funeral. There'll be, you know, sad music or whatever, I'm guessing, and you'll be there. It'll probably be some holographic thing reading off the stuff he did. And it'll say all the stuff you achieved, and that'll be permanently on record. You'll see things like, you know, fought in the great battle of moons or whatever, and fought for Saturn around this area in 2989 or whatever, and did something remarkable here, and slayed the pirate of 3 cities. You know what I mean? That sort of cool stuff. And it'll be listing off everything he did. But now here's the catch. Your new character will inherit a certain amount of credits, because no doubt the government will be taking their share. The ship's repair bill and all that sort of stuff will be transferred onto you, and it'll come back. If your other character didn't have the credits for, like, if your character didn't buy insurance on a ship, it's gone, and you'll be back with no ship. But if you did have that insurance premium that you top up every 6 months, you'll have the other character's ship. You'll inherit everything that other character had, but to a percentage. Yes, you'll have all the ships. Not sure if the ships will come with all their modules, but we'll soon find out. Also, what you'll have is your old character's reputation in a sense. So say if you got a reputation as some hero of the UEE and you went around kicking ass and breaking necks and taking names, you know what I mean? If you were doing all that sort of stuff, you'll have a reputation still, like, you know, oh, this was, you know, the Fearless One's brother or something, you know, this was Cytex the Brave's cousin. And yes, I said Cytec because that's the name of my joystick and it's the only thing I could see that had a name on it just now. But that's awesome because you'll have some of that guy's rep. That'll make it easier for you to go back into the UEE and gain a rank rather than going in with nothing behind you at all. It'll give you a chance of, you know, they'll say, oh, give this guy a break. You know what I mean? His cousin was Cytec the Brave. Same thing is true if you are a pirate. If you were, you know, like Fearless Redbeard the Terrible and you went around killing people and doing all this stuff and making lots of profit and, you know, drinking with pirates and all that sort of stuff and endeavors and all that crazy stuff that pirates do. But yeah, let's say you did that and your character dies because he was a pirate and he was wandering around and a UEE dropship just so happened to land on him by accident. Let's say that happens. Your new character will inherit everything apart from obviously some of the money and some of the reputation. But what will happen is, like, your old character will be on the UEE watch list, but your new character won't be, but you will be able to get in with those pirates easier because you'll have respect, because you were related to so-and-so. And that's how it's really going to work. That'll be your beneficiary character you'll move on to, because your original character's toast. So let's say, you know, you're in the verse, and you're worried about what kind of things are going to punch your ticket permanently in one hit. And now we're going to move on to those type of things. So let's say you're in a desperate struggle aboard a space station, you know, fighting Vendulov, or you're fighting, you know, another player group in some huge war, and you fight them on the ground. You get shot in the face, and your head is gone. You're done. You go straight to your beneficiary. There is no coming back from losing your head. Pardon the pun. But yeah, then you're hasta la vista, basically. Also, moving on to another thing that would probably cause permanent death, which is something along the lines of, oh, I got in my escape pod, haha, and you jettison out, and your escape pod immediately gets hit by a stray missile. Boom. That's it. Beneficiary time. Your character, as I said earlier, takes serious damage, and can't take it anymore, and then someone shoots him in the back to take his wallet. He's done, because his body was already used up. So those are the kind of things you gotta watch out for, guys, in Star Citizen when the full game's out. Also, there will be a survival element in the game in terms of food and stuff. You will need to eat and drink to survive. You can starve to death and use up one of your body's lives that way. That would suck, wouldn't it? You know, being stranded on some moon and you're on your last life, per se. You're on your last, you know, your body's on its last legs. It's like, damn, I really should have, you know, not thrown away those snacks on this ship's maiden voyage. She sells so much food and I didn't need it at the time. Now I've crashed. That's it. Oh, that would suck, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much permanent death, roughly, and healing your spaceman. And that's all the sort of information I could gather up on that. I suppose a little bit more info on it would be along the lines of, well, don't die. That would be my tip to you. But yeah, nobody lives forever in Star Citizen. When you play Star Citizen, please play smart when the game's in a more complete state. Nowadays, yeah, sure, crash your ship into other ships, and you'll have griefers nowadays, but those times will come to an end when the game is in more of a complete state. But when it's finished, you won't see people doing that sort of stuff because it'll carry heavy consequences. That said, I wouldn't be surprised if there was somebody out there, and I was talking to a friend about this a long time ago, and how the whole character customization thing goes. You'll have some guys maybe hold up on a constellation. They're saying, you know, like, oh, you know, we've got these crew hostage, you know what I mean? We're not going to let anyone out. And it's like, well, we're going to kill everybody aboard that ship if you don't hand over the hostages. You know what I mean? It says here they're already dead. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'd like to see you try. And it's like, you got no weapons. And then that one generic guy will show up in a Hornet that's got no weapons, no armor, bits of it missing. And they'll be like, well, you know, Bob over here, he doesn't mind being a kamikaze missile. It's like, ah, yeah, right, no one's that crazy. And then they look at the cockpit, and it's the most generic-looking guy you can imagine. And that's gonna be the moment that'll hit home. And like, damn, these guys are serious. Have you seen this guy's character? It's like, yeah, I'm Bob the 105th. This is like, you know, a long line of Bobs. It's like the game's only been out a month. I know. That would be awesome, you know what I mean? Have these every now and again you might bump into someone who's just died so many times that they've got to the point where it's just like, I'm not even gonna bother designing my character. I'm probably gonna be dead within 5 minutes. You might bump into someone that's completely balls to the wall crazy like that. But yeah, remember to play smart, guys. Star Citizen is gonna be amazing. It continues to get better and better every day. I'm gonna make a video on like roles, individual roles in Star Citizen next, I think. I do make a video a day as it is right now, so I have to make these videos in the morning and then try and get them out as soon as possible. And sometimes I have to think, what am I going to do a video on today and stuff. Thank you to everybody that has subscribed and liked. You guys do not believe how happy I am right now, because I do this all for free. I don't have no Patreon or nothing like that, and I don't intend to, and I'm not going to have any monetization. I like to put this stuff out there for you guys. Old information, new information, I put it all together so you don't miss a thing. Right, thank you for watching, folks. As always, fly safe, Commanders. Oh, and one last thing. We are now on 91 subscribers. That number will probably drop, but let's hope not. Let's hope it only goes up. And I want to say a special thank you to everybody that has subscribed. You guys have made my day in what is a pretty tough time I'm having at the moment, but I won't go into detail because that's personal stuff. Who knows, I might share it, I might not. You know, stay tuned, I guess. But yeah, as always, guys, fly safe, Commanders, and I'll see you in the verse, citizens.